So maybe you're interested in training jujitsu to lose a little bit of weight. Maybe you're interested in thinking it could be a good supplement for some strength training, or you're just interested in knowing more about what's happening to your body physiologically while you're training jujitsu. So in this video, we're going to break down if jujitsu is good for weight loss and all those other good healthy benefits. So stick around in this video. We're going to talk about it right now. How's it going, everybody? My name is Chasen Hill. I'm a jiu-jitsu black belt. I've been teaching and training jiu-jitsu now for 14 plus years. So if you guys like all things jiu-jitsu, this is probably a pretty good channel for you guys to check out. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button down below. Kind of helps me get seen in the rest of the YouTube world. Also hit the bell icon. That way you guys never miss the latest video. So when we talk about training jiu-jitsu, often so many people ask, well, is it going to help me lose weight? Is it going to do more for me strength training? What is actually going to be happening to my body physiologically while training jiu-jitsu? And the short answer about will it make you lose weight is absolutely. Jiu-jitsu is usually a very cardiovascular intensity-based exercise. You're using a lot of things like HIIT training is a common example that people maybe are familiar with, where you're getting your heart rate up very high and then it kind of drops down, then it spikes again, gets up high and drops down again. And this is what we know as anaerobic training exercises. So this has been shown to boost your metabolism and help you then increase weight loss. Also, because you're training jiu-jitsu usually in like a 30-minute to an hour span, the amount of calories that you're burning is very sufficient as well too. There's been some studies that have shown, depending on the intensity level of what your heart rate gets up to, and then the size that you are of your weight, can burn up to 500 to 1,000 calories in a single workout in a jiu-jitsu rolling session. So there's a lot of factors that can determine how many calories to burn. So it's not really efficient to say exactly how many you can burn, but we can give a rough range. It can be between 500 to 1,000. Just know that the more intense that the round is, or the more sparring you did, you're probably going to burn more than just drilling as a general rule of thumb. Let's give a quick shout out to today's sponsor of this video. We have Gold BJJ. I love some of their gis and rash guards that they have. You guys can see me right here wearing the classic gold weave gi and the long sleeve rash guard. I like the softness of how the top feels of this specific gi, and it's pretty lightweight actually for its durability that it has. You guys can head over to their website at goldbjj.com to check out a bunch of their other gis and all their other inventory that they have. They're always updating and adding new products. Also, if you guys use my link in the description down below, I will send you a free gift of this body wash to rub all the nasty mat fungus off you after you guys get done training. So check them out, Gold BJJ. Just FYI, a little bit about me is that I have a degree in exercise science as well too. I actually have a certification in this thing from American College of Sports and Medicine, known as an exercise physiologist. So I do have a little bit of idea about what happens to your body when training jiu-jitsu. And I've also been teaching for 14 years. So I've literally had students have all of these benefits. I've had a student lose over 100 pounds. I've had a student that's actually put on muscle mass and size while training jiu-jitsu. And then I've even had students like gain a little bit of weight while training jiu-jitsu regularly based too. So this tells me that jiu-jitsu is like every other type of exercise, that there are different factors that can benefit different results depending on in the jiu-jitsu gym and what you're doing outside the jiu-jitsu gym. I'm going to give you guys a big hint. A lot of stuff that you do outside the gym is going to benefit you inside the gym and determine your results. So let's break down some things that can happen for you guys. So first off, with weight loss, yes, because we already said that you're going to be raising your metabolism, it's going to be high intensity exercise, and you're going to be burning calories, you're 100% going to lose weight. Where this starts to slow down and decrease is actually when students become good at jiu-jitsu. They heart rate doesn't spike as much and they don't actually have to spar as intensively. So a lot of times students who become a little bit more skilled at jiu-jitsu, like those upper belts, like the purple and brown belts, can often maybe put on a little extra weight because they're not getting as intense of an exercise. Now, one way to kind of curve that as an issue is to compete a lot. If you're competing a lot, you're going to be sparring against guys that are definitely your skill all the time and going to be pushing the pace. So those guys burn an incredible amount of calories. Or if you're a full-time jiu-jitsu competitor, that's probably not a problem for you. But if you're just a general person, just kind of be watching out that a lot of times the more efficient you get at jiu-jitsu and the better you get, it can kind of put on a little bit of extra weight, but you can definitely manage manage that with having a good diet. Obviously, that's a big component of any time that you're losing weight, whether that's in a traditional gym or a jiu-jitsu setting, is your diet is going to be key to if you're losing weight. If you're just shoving more calories in than you're burning, then that's not going to help you lose weight. If you're taking in a lot of processed sugars and refined foods, then that's going to help keep those extra pounds on you. And so the better that your diet gets, obviously the more weight you're going to lose, and it's going to make you feel better when training jiu-jitsu. I can't tell you how many students I've had that when they show up to the gym and they've eaten this full-blown meal or like pasta or this just heavy based food, and then they go roll and then they feel like trash. And it's like, yeah, that food's not great for this high intensity exercise that you're about to have on you. So a lot of times jiu-jitsu will encourage people to change their diet in a different way than it does just lifting weights. So I like to say that it will help that in that way, but you have to be careful because then it can also put the weight back on if you're not cautious of that. So the next common thing that jiu-jitsu can do is it is a base of what's called resistance training. So resistance training is another fancy name for weightlifting. We don't want to use the term weightlifting when jiu-jitsu because we're not really lifting weights per se. We're not lifting dumbbells or barbells or weights at a gym, but your weight that you're lifting is yourself. So a form of calisthenics, and it's also your training partner. Your training partner is resistance as well. So they are an amount of weight. You know, if they're 150 pounds, that's the amount of resistance. If they're 225 pounds, that's an amount of resistance. Now, ultimately in jiu-jitsu, you should be trying to learn the most effective and efficient way to do the technique so you don't have to rely on contracting your muscles and using all this strength that you have built up to make the techniques work. But that doesn't mean that they're not getting a lot of work. Jiu-jitsu uses a lot of this idea called a push-pull concept. So because in jiu-jitsu, if I'm grabbing the gi and I'm pushing somebody and then I'm pulling them, that is used so often in jiu-jitsu that you're doing it against resistance. No one's just leaving their arm like a wet noodle or making their body stand up stiff like a board. People are fighting back. So even though that you're doing the technique effectively and maybe even efficiently, you're still getting resistance training. Your muscles are still pushing and pulling against resisting forces. So that's going to increase strength. Now, the trick about increasing strength with jiu-jitsu is we want to be careful because that's an odd metric to talk about. So when we say increased strength, a lot of times students refer to that as in a weightlifting strength. So if I think that I'm going to bench press, let's say my max is 150 pounds and I go only train jiu-jitsu, your bench press may or may not go up because you're not training just the bench press, but your total overall strength might go up. Jiu-jitsu uses this idea called compound lifts, if you want to think about it that way. And compound lifts are just a fancy name for saying total body exercise a lot of times. So other compound lifts are like deadlifts, leg presses, back squats, shoulder presses, things that use multiple joints. And that is what jiu-jitsu is doing all the time. You're doing compound lifts. You're standing up in somebody's guard. That's squatting. You know, you're bending over. You're putting your weight on somebody. You're using your arms to collapse or to hold their arm close to you. You know, you're using a lot of multiple joints to do exercises. So you're doing big compound lifts in jiu-jitsu. So if you wanted to test if you got stronger, the better way to do that would be to do like big compound lifts and to see if those go up. But at the end of the day, those lifts are also skills. So you can get good at doing those lifts and technically not be as strong. So there's kind of a weird subjective measure to there, but ultimately students do see an increased size of muscle mass. A lot of times they will see more definition. That's because you're losing weight as well too. So you're going to definitely get some strength benefits from training jiu-jitsu. It just may not be the same as standing on stage next to Mr. Olympia because that's a whole different style of training. So 100%, if you're looking to get into jiu-jitsu to build a little bit of strength because you don't have much and you're looking to lose weight, then you have a great 1-2 combo there for jiu-jitsu. You're going to definitely get both. So if you guys are liking this kind of information right now, make sure you let me know down in the comments below. What do you get the biggest benefit fitness-wise out of jiu-jitsu? Let me know what you enjoy the most. Do you enjoy the strength aspect? Do you enjoy the weight loss aspect? What benefits have you seen physiologically to your own body from jiu-jitsu? And then, of course, the last idea about jiu-jitsu that's very beneficial physically is going to be the cardiovascular and the mental health, right? The brain ability up there. So cardiovascular, because you're doing a lot of HIIT training and anaerobic style activity of training, your heart is definitely getting worked out and getting used, and you're definitely improving the areas of cardiovascular fitness. Now, it's going to help you more into kind of sprinting idea. It may not help you run long distance better, but it's going to help you in those ideas, which do help you improve and stay on the mat longer. Really what happens in jiu-jitsu is just like even in fitness and working out and other aspects, is that you get more efficient at breathing. You get better at timing your breath. You get better at not breathing as hard. You get better at controlling your breath, which definitely helps as well too. So definitely as your cardiovascular fitness improves and your VO2 starts to increase as well too, the amount of oxygen you can take in and breathe out, then you're definitely going to see a benefit cardiovascular wise and health wise and muscular endurance and all of that good stuff that we're looking for in jiu-jitsu. Now that definitely takes time. Also with the mental health is that, when you're working out just in general, you release, endorphins. And so when you release endorphins, to quote a movie, Legally Blonde, I hate to say it, I'm about to quote it right now, they make you happy. So they're going to make your overall mental health usually better. Now, where jiu-jitsu can affect your mental health is in your own skills. Like, oh man, I'm not actually getting better at jiu-jitsu. Oh man, I don't actually know what I'm doing, and kind of that self-deprecating, anxiety building stuff. But just as the sense of our mental brain health, is very beneficial. You're going to leave better. You're going to feel like you're in a better mood a lot of times. You're going to feel like all the stress and anxiety is wasted off of you because you had such a good, intensive cardiovascular based workout that you feel good to go and ready to go. The next benefit that jiu-jitsu can do too is either increasing flexibility or range of motion. And definitely it can. A lot of times it's not going to be able to make you pull your toes to your nose necessarily, but it's going to increase range of motion. I call it being jiu-jitsu flexible. I am not flexible at all in the sense of flexible. I'm not like these 10th planet guys that can put their feet behind their head and all of that stuff. And I understand that you can train that stuff and pull your legs and actually put yourself in those positions and get better. But I think, to me personally, where I bias in the exercise world is better range of motion while under contraction. That's kind of what I look at as healthy, not just flexibility and just being able to pull your foot over your head. I want to do it under a base of contraction. So me doing it on my own, not pulling it there, to kind of summarize that. And I know that's a big debate in the fitness world about if one's better than the other. That's just the side I tend to lean towards. So that may be a whole video for a future day. But I think jiu-jitsu does increase range of motion a lot while training. So for example, for myself, some of you guys may not know this, I was actually born with something called golf club feet, or my feet were kind of cupped. And so I had to have reconstructive surgery on my ankles whenever I was a little kid. And so my ankles have very poor flexibility. And so I could not actually even sit on my heels in the guard whenever I first started training jiu-jitsu. And so as I started training, I was able to increase my range of motion and flexibility in my ankles. Now I can sit on my heels. So I've actually improved that while training jiu-jitsu. So people will often get better hip flexibility. They will often get better knee range of motion and leg range of motion. They're going to get a lot of those benefits from training and being put into different positions. Now you got to be careful. Don't overdo it. Don't overextend something. Don't pull something. We can go too fast too quickly, but definitely jiu-jitsu can benefit those flexibility and range of motion style of goals if that's what you have. So 100%, if you're looking to get healthier and improve some of your physical fitness, jiu-jitsu is a great tool. A lot of times my students will use jiu-jitsu as a cardio supplement. They still like to maybe go to the weight room and throw up weight because they still like showing that they can bench this much and squat this much, and they don't want to lose those gains. But jiu-jitsu is a great cardiovascular benefit as well too. Now, I want to be absolutely clear. It's not going to help you stand on stage in a Mr. Olympia competition. That's a whole different training idea. That's a different bodybuilding idea that jiu-jitsu does not help with. But it does help you in overall general fitness and well-being and health benefits. So 100%, if you're looking to train jiu-jitsu to lose weight and to get healthier, it's a great option for you. And you learn how to assassinate and murder people as well too. So benefit on both ends. Thank you guys for making it to the end of another video. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button down below. Also, if you're interested in getting more one-on-one help, I have an online coaching program where I can help students either benefit their jiu-jitsu by giving them fitness plans, exercise stuff, also work with them in their jiu-jitsu realm and develop training plans and focuses as well too. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure you check out the link in the description below. We can schedule a chat and I can speak with you and give you more information about that. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.